Today we're going to take a look at the RampedUp account-based selling tool portal, and you should see that on my screen right now. I'm logged in, and on the main screen we're on the Accounts tab, which is where we have what we refer to as the battle card. So a couple different tabs which we will go over, some in more detail in follow-on webinars or demos. But right now we're on the company tab. Microsoft, this is just a default account. We could enter a company URL, hit enter, and the firmographic details for that account is pulled for us and consolidated, and includes the company name, social presence, and some other specifics related to that account, as well as on the right side of the screen, just some recent news articles related to the company, and we'll talk more about that. But also here you see 5 stars, and this is a predictive scoring that we use, and I'm just clicking on just so you can see this question mark, which explains the rating, the 5 stars, and how they got there. So a star is awarded for each of the following 5 categories, and 1 for if this account is in the top 5 industries based on your clients. Another star if it's in the top 5 market segments based on your clients. A preferred technology that you identify, either competitive or complementary. We have at least 1 contact with a preferred title that would be on your buying committee for your product or service, and you identify those. I'll show you that. And then also if the company has some recent news within the last 90 days that would possibly indicate a potential buying cycle for you that you can evaluate. So while we're on this screen, the more trigger events I talked about. So these are the latest 3. This more trigger events button, if you were to click on it, it takes you to our trigger events tab, pre-populates the URL for the company or account that you're doing research on. It shows you the latest week and pulls articles related to that. So you see on the left here, there's a number of different search criteria where you could focus your search about the company and what might be happening in the company. One of the most important ones is our trigger event types. And so I won't read all of them, but I'll click here and you can see there's 12. And we categorize these articles, these trigger events that, again, may indicate a buying cycle for your product or service. If not, at least a good reason for a warm call, congratulations, etc., so that you can build on your relationship selling. But the event types, awards, events, legal issues, personnel, real estate, etc. So those are some events that you could use to focus your search, etc. And these are links to the actual article themselves. So here, if I click on this, this will take me to the article itself. I can do some additional research to see if it does in fact impact this account, and I can relate it to some corporate initiative that would include my product or service in an evaluation or a buy cycle. So that's trigger events. And then if we come back to what I was talking to earlier, this scoring mechanism, one of the things that we do is our Customer Insights tab. We do some analytics based on your customer wins, and so we, by industry, company size, etc., we can help you evaluate what that looks like. And then not only do we help look at that just from a numbers standpoint, and percentage of the sales that you have in your company, but as we pointed out, I relate those wins directly to this particular account that you're looking at and score this account based on the relationship or the similarity to those accounts and how like it is to your current customer roster. So if you said, hey, Ken, that's great, and we can key in accounts one by one, is there a better way to do it? Absolutely. So we have an import URL function. It's a CSV file, so I'm going to go get me a company URL file, and this is my account list. So I'm just going to import it. So I've got all of my accounts. There's 10 per page, and there's 50 pages. So do the math. That's 500 accounts that I'm responsible for. So I'm going to select all of them and import them in so that I can take a look at them. So you can see then I have all my accounts that I can scroll through and look at the firmographics and the scoring on each. I can also, now that I have them imported, I can jump to a particular account that I may need to work on or look at. Another nice feature is that once you have this and you need account information for your CRM, you have the capability to download. So if I click on this, it downloads company data, and that is information that we can look at and we provide to you in the form of a CSV, easy for you to import into your CRM. So here's my accounts, much more information than you saw on the screen to include, some particulars about industry, employee counts, and the tech stack that's installed, which we'll go over in a minute. So that's an easy way to get data into your CRM, evaluate it in the RampedUp tool from an account-based level. So next tab, so now that we have our accounts loaded, we can go and look at, and let's go back to our sample account that I had pulled up initially and start looking at some details. And so one of the things that we can see here is that it pulls some contacts, but I know that Skillsoft has more than just 5 employees. So one of the things that we do in RampedUp is we only show you those titles that would be a part of your buying committee. And so you ask how I might do that. So let me jump back into the admin while we're talking about it. So we have what's called decision makers, because these are the people who will decide to either buy your service or not. So we list those out by title. Some are more general, like benefits. That can be a couple different titles, or specific, like CFO and CIO. And it's easy to add a title, and we can go to the top, add the CEO. And if that was just a test to show you, and we don't really need CEO, we can delete it right off the list. Just that easy. So that's how we pull our contacts, and we get that information. Not only do we have contacts that we need by title, we have their phone number, and we have an email address. But you may say, hey, there's one-off or special projects. I may need some additional contacts. And over to the right, there's a More Contacts tab. We can click on that. It takes us to a contact, pre-populates the account that we're looking at, so Skillsoft here, and then it starts pulling in all the contacts that we have. And so even there, we have the same with the trigger events. We have some search criteria. So if we are looking for some specific titles that may be now a part of your evaluation, we could look for those and narrow that down to the VP of operations that we need to add to our list. And again, just like with the accounts, we have the opportunity to download specific contacts into a CSV, and I'll open that just so you can see. And just like with the accounts, we have more data. Just because of real estate, we can't display all this, but this would be contact data. This would be where the contacts are located, so not necessarily where the account is located. And then we also have firmographic data in the form of SIC, employee range, and revenue range. So a lot more information that you could use for data inside of your CRM. So that's a contacts tab. So not only do we pull titles that you tell us you need to see, but we give you the option to search for more and do some one-offs. Next tab, customers. We are using that customer insights that I told you about earlier. So we're using that to help evaluate how this account, this Skillsoft account, relates or is similar to companies that you have sold to in the past. And that shows up here in the form of there's 96 customers in the company size range that we've sold to, with the latest being listed by name. So if we clicked on this, this is a tool that we use to collect a win story. So you could share some tribal knowledge, like what campaign you used, who you sold to, who signed the contract, what product you sold to them, and then maybe what competitor you beat. So you could collect that data, make it available, and for other sales reps inside the company that they could use when they're evaluating their accounts and trying to sell into them. So not only company size, there's a you can do it by industry vertical and or location, as an example. So the customers tab, making you look at how this account compares or looks like your current client roster. Next is the competition tab. So on the competition tab, we are showing you who Skillsoft, this account that we are looking into and researching, we are showing you who they compete against. So just as to allow you to have a more intelligent conversation with some of the leadership in the company and your buying committee, to really have a little deeper knowledge about what's going on and what market segment, what marketplace this account is operating in, and who they're competing against. And then we also have a technologies tab. So we pull the current tech stack and display that for you, and you see there's listed here, and there's a couple different pages. And you may have noticed when we're back here on this original company tab, here at the bottom, it says preferred technology. So how did I get that there? Well, let's go back to our admin and I'll show you. So like the decision makers, we also have a place for you to tell us what preferred technology means to you. So it's nothing more than a matter of selecting your technology category and then choosing one of the tech stack technologies that you either compete against or you are complementary to. So I just added this business intelligence. You see it here. And if I decide I don't want it, and I'm going to take it off. So that is the tech stack. We have our accounts loaded. We can get the contacts we need and get them downloaded into a CSV. So that is the RampedUp account-based selling tool. This is our battle card that gets you ready to go sell some business. And at RampedUp, we know with the customer insights that we have, and you marry that with sales intelligence, you get a true account-based selling tool. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next demo.